Hey, this is the Trampions. Found out today that my real job might be illegal. No, I do not sell crack to kids. Just in case that my real job goes away, buy stuff. Anything. Just buy something. This is too late to sleep. So, yeah, some stuff going on in my real life, but don't worry about it. It's at least 50% a joke. So, don't worry about that. I know you're real concerned. Thank you for watching Too Late to Sleep. Not a lot to go on this week, but we will get to the pay-per-view preview in just a minute. So the big news this week is probably going to be Kenny Omega winning the IWGP United States Championship for the first time ever, anyone ever winning it, first new champion at the G1 special in the U.S. out in Long Beach, California this weekend. It was a great tournament. There were some great matches. A little bit of dissension going on in the Bullet Club with him having a callback to his Dominion match with Okada when he came down to the ring during the Okada-Cody match and tried to get Brandy to throw in the towel. So that was fun. We're going to see where that's going. There's a little bit of a difference between what we see in Being the Elite and what's going on in New Japan, which is weird because they've been trying to work those stories a little bit closer together, especially in Ring of Honor. But in Being the Elite, we see Cody pretty tight with them. Whereas during the New Japan post-show, Cody wasn't even at the press conference. But then you watch the YouTube show, and there he is. So they're trying to tell one story while they're having to tell another, and it's going to be weird to see how that goes out. We do have a special treat for you this week. We have, for the first time ever, for the first installment of This Week in Shitposting, a special guest explains your shitpost.
Hello, I am Explains Your Shitpost from Reddit. I'm here to talk to you about the latest trends in shitposts on r squared circle. Now, fantasy booking is nothing new to Reddit. We've seen it for a long time, but the latest trend has been a resurgence of the WWE should ... post. Now, instead of more specific posts saying specific matches and match outcomes, these are more broad or specific to a single wrestler, a single vague thing they want done. Baron Corbin should come to the ring on a motorcycle, something along those lines. The latest that we have seen that actually got quite a number of upvotes was suggesting that WWE should take a note from a match that occurred on WWE TV. How they believe that WWE was not paying attention to a match happening on WWE TV that WWE put on in a WWE ring, I don't know, but enough people believed that that was the case that it made it to the front page. Remember, just because it's a shitpost doesn't mean that it won't get upvoted. The next trend that we've seen getting a little bit more appreciation lately is Can We Appreciate posts. These are posts where somebody will find a topic in the comments of a discussion thread and expound upon it in an entire post. It says, can we appreciate so-and-so's mic work? Can we appreciate this individual match? Now, it doesn't matter that typically these matches will have their own discussion thread if it happens on a pay-per-view, or that if people who were actually interested in this would have been in those discussion threads. This will give whoever the shitposter is an opportunity to discuss this at length. Although typically they'll just go about 2 lines and let everybody suck their dick and upvote them. Finally, and this only is available once a year, specifically PWG shitposts. I know what you're saying, PWG. That is excellent wrestling. Explains your shitpost. What are you talking about? Yes, PWG puts on amazing shows, but the problem is that their most amazing show each year is coming up, Battle of Los Angeles. And what happens every year prior to the Battle of Los Angeles is PWG tweets out every entrant into it, one at a time. So what we are likely to see is every single one of possibly 32 entrants, we don't know the exact number yet, have each and every one of their tweets posted. 2 at a time, 3, maybe even as much as 5 at a time. And instead of posting them all in a single post, people are going to post each and every one of those tweets to milk each and every one of them for karma. And remember, you don't fucking need that karma. You're not a whore. This has been Explain Your Shitpost. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about this with you. Back to you, Tramp.
Thank you for that, Explain Your Shitpost. We hope to see you back very soon. We also have Great Balls of Fire coming up this weekend. It is the worst named pay-per-view possibly ever, but it looks like it could be a legitimately great one based on the lineup. On the pre-show, we have Neville defending the Cruiserweight Championship versus Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa is the new member of what used to be called the Titus brand, but is now Titus Worldwide. That is now official. Titus is going in all in on promoting this match like he's Don King. He's moved on from LeVar Ball to Don King. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I do not expect anybody to dethrone Neville on their first try. He is too strong a champ. Tozawa needs too much development. This is a great step with him joining Titus, but I don't think that it is enough to give him the belt. If he gets a rematch afterwards, I'll revisit that. But at this point, I just do not see it happening. We've got Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Hardy Boys in a 30-minute Iron Man tag team match for the Tag Team Championship. I think that this is going to be the blow-off for this feud. But then again, I thought that that was going to be the case on the Raw after the last pay-per-view, and that didn't happen. But I think that Sheamus and Cesaro need to win. I think more likely it's going to be a draw like the last match was, the 2 out of 3 falls, where they're going to have the same number of falls. It'd be great if it was 0, and they just said no overtime, which would be a nice callback to the last match. But I'm not sure that's how they're going to go. I think that they are going out of their way to paint the Hardy Boys and Cesaro as equals when they need to give one of them just a definitive win, and I think it needs to be Sheamus and Cesaro, even if it's dirty. They need to be able to move the Hardys on to another team that doesn't have the belts so that the Hardys can give somebody else a rub. I think the Hardys versus Gallows and Anderson would be a fantastic feud. I'm hoping that's where we're going. If not, the Hardys versus the Revival would be possibly even more amazing. And I just don't see that happening if they have the titles. But then again, I don't see who is the obvious contenders afterwards. So we'll see. We've got The Miz versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. Hopefully this is the blow-off for that feud. Now that The Miz has the Miztourage, I think it's going to be a lot easier for him to cheat, get away with it, because he's got 3 people that can be kicked away from ringside instead of just 1. This needs to end. I wasn't real happy that we went from the Superstar shakeup directly into this feud, because we had this feud over on SmackDown, and there's no reason for them to both come over to Raw just to continue it. And it's been going on forever. It is the longest lasting feud to come out of the shakeup when it shouldn't have happened in the first place. So I got my fingers crossed that The Miz wins this and they can both move on to somebody else. You got Enzo versus Cass. There is about a 20% chance that this actually solves anything between them. And that is really only if it's on a temporary basis where we see an injury angle. I think there's a chance that Cass injures Enzo, puts him out for a while, which gives Cass some time to kind of stretch his legs on his own. But I think it is much more likely that nothing is solved, and however the match ends, which is probably either Enzo getting a cheap but clean victory with a roll-up or something, or Cass just dominating Enzo. We're going to get this again next month. I can't see this not going on to SummerSlam. You got Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt. This is another one that I don't think is going to be solved here. Bray is probably going to win. Something crappy, cult member showing up, something to help him cheat to win, so that Seth has a reason to challenge him to an even bigger match at SummerSlam. It looked like we were going to get Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor. Maybe they're going to move towards that for SummerSlam, but it looks more like they just abandoned that. So probably more likely that Bray gets the dirty win. We've got Alexa versus Sasha for the Women's Championship. I do not see them putting the belt back on Sasha. I don't think that was the point of the Superstar shakeup. I think we are more likely going to see Nia get the next big chance. I think that she's ready for a face turn, especially with how she performed in the Gauntlet match last week on Raw. I think that this is just to kind of go with the established face while they have a little bit more time to turn Nia face. And you're not going to see Sasha win. We got Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman in the ambulance match. Supposedly we're getting Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. He's already challenged whoever does have the title at SummerSlam for the Universal Championship. That's not set in stone, but it makes more sense for him to win if he's going to do that. They're going to find a way to protect Braun Strowman. They've been protecting him even when he gets injured. They make him look like $1 million. So I think he's going to get the win, but it's going to be more of a something where Braun breaks out of the ambulance before it's able to leave the stadium. Enough for Roman to be crowned the winner, because he'll leave ringside, but then he'll come back and beat up Roman or something afterwards. And then we're going to get Brock versus Samoa Joe for the championship. I don't think that Joe is going to win this. I don't think many people believe he has a chance. But just the fact that they've been willing to spend so much time and effort making it look like he has a chance is amazing. This is probably the biggest rocket that has been strapped to somebody's ass since SummerSlam last year, when Finn Balor won the Universal Championship to begin with. And then that kind of died off for reasons WWE couldn't control when he got injured. So just that they are doing this now with Samoa Joe, making him look like an equal to Brock Lesnar, that might even be a bigger deal than what Finn got, immediately upon his promotion to the main roster. I am much more interested, though, in where Samoa Joe goes the night after, when he's got to set up his match at SummerSlam, because he's probably not getting a rematch. And whether he has the belt or not, he's most likely moving on to somebody else, and that's the feud that's going to be interesting, because now, unless he absolutely gets squashed by Brock, he is at that Brock level after all of this. Now, there's a chance WWE throws that away and does have Brock squash him, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think that Samoa Joe is as bulletproof as John Cena was when Brock did it to him a few years back at SummerSlam. I think they know that he's a little bit more susceptible to damage, and if they don't make him look like a serious threat, that they will have just wasted all this time and effort. All of his time in NXT, all of that goes down the drain. I don't think they're going to do that, and I am so interested in seeing where he goes after he loses. That's where the money is. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching. I love you, Trampions. Hit like, hit share, drop me a comment, and wait. Where the fuck my Uber driver taking me? Cheers.